Hello Stitchy friends! Are you ready for a craft room tour? Let's go in and take a look. So here's what you'll see when you first walk into the room. Here we have this little table. It used to be our dining room table at the old house, and it fits perfectly in here in the craft room, and it also doubles as a homeschool space. So I homeschool my daughter, and we keep a lot of the homeschool supplies in that cart there underneath the table. Up on the table, you'll see that bin is full of all my 2023 finishes. So I'll be filming a finishes video soon if you haven't seen that yet. I've also got a Christmas present here sitting on the table that still needs to be wrapped. So I'm filming this before Christmas. You may not see it until after Christmas. It just depends on when I get this edited and up. So in this bin here on the floor is where I keep all of my patterns. All of my cross-stitch patterns, crochet patterns, knitting patterns, sewing patterns. All of my patterns are in this one file box. On top of it, I have this tote that has my fancy floss. So my classic Colorworks and Color and Cotton threads, and some Adam Hart thread bobbins. So I would like to get those switched over to the thread bobbins here pretty soon in the new year. Now this bookshelf here to the left, one of my husband's hobbies is woodworking, and this is a custom piece that he built for me. The top row is all full of project bags, most of which are whips. Some of them are just kits, but most of them are whips. On the middle row, all the way on the left here, is where I have my cross-stitch fabric, my Aida, and my linen folded up into the bins, separated by count for the most part. In the middle cubby, I have another bin of cross-stitch fabric, as well as a couple of knitting projects. And in the right bin on the middle row, I have some quilting fabric, so a fat quarter bundle and some quilt fabric for quilt backs, for quilts that I hope to finish sometime in the future. The left two cubbies on the bottom row, those are more homeschool books. And then on this bottom right cubby, this top bin here is full of cross-stitch finishes that haven't been fully finished yet. We'll probably take a look at some of those later before the new year. And the bottom two are in-process quilt projects. Sorry if I move too fast. Here up above, there's my wall clock. It is 4 o'clock. The display letter in the corner is from Paisleys and Polka Dots. I have a dough bowl filled with some yarn for a project that I'll be starting soon. And my sweet little Christmas tree. And my snowflake topper. Then, if I spin around, hopefully not too fast, this is a view you've probably seen a lot if you follow me on Instagram. So I have some cross-stitch finishes on the wall, as well as a needlepoint that was handed down to me from my grandmother. I don't think she stitched it, but she liked to save those from thrift stores. On the tabletop, you'll see my sewing machine and my snap setting tools, some project bags, my little planner, some finishing pieces that I need to get stained or painted. Now, this tabletop is my favorite piece in my craft room. It was custom built for me by my husband, and on this side is all various drawers. So if you want to take a look and see what's in my island drawers, trying not to move too fast. So I have some birthday cards that I need to display. That's a special one for my sister, as well as some random tools. Some Stampin' Up! Supplies. That's what is mostly in this column. And don't pay attention to the labels, they're all wrong. Stamps. Variety of paper and a couple more tools. most of these drawers since the move are not at all organized. So here's some random sewing supplies. Needlework tools. Those are my knitting needles. Project tracker cards. Just basically knitting and cross stitch tools in here. Hot mess, I know. Watercolor painting supplies. I haven't painted anything in watercolor in a very long time, but I don't want to give it up yet. So those are watercolor kits and paper and tape and paint. Random office supplies. This has all my needle minders in it. I haven't found a place to display my needle minders yet. Crochet hooks, some more sewing supplies, quilting gloves, and clamps. I use those clamps on my tabletop when I am basting a quilt to hold the layers tight. Hi, Lulu. Hi, Lulu. Then next up, I have some embroidery kits and knitting supplies and a couple of cross-stitch clutches that I'm not using right now. Basting pins, as well as my quick clip tool. Love that thing. Bottom drawer is all acrylic painting supplies and gloves and an apron. Top drawer is various types of adhesives. Next up is a hot mess of embellishments. Mostly paper crafting embellishments, but some of these I will use for cross-stitch finishes as well. Some more embellishments, some ribbon and jingle bells and pom-pom trim, and a frame that I need to paint. And the bottom drawer has a stapler, as well as a bunch of RIT dye. Okay. Then next up, let's take a look at my Hobby Lobby tiered tray real quick, all decorated for Christmas. Sorry if I'm moving too fast. And the next piece of furniture closest to my island is my ironing station. So this is just two metal shelving units that are, I think, 12 inches by 24 inches. And then I built a frame that sits over the top of them out of 1x4s and put a piece of plywood on top with some batting and some quilting cotton. And I have a nice large rectangular ironing space. That's great for when I'm trying to iron with the fabric pieces for all of the bags that I make. In these totes is a hot mess. Get to where you can see them, hopefully. So in this one here, I have like some iron-on interfacing, a little bit of fusible fleece, some felt, those kind of things. This bin here has some yarn for a couple of different sweater projects. Down lower, I have 3 bins full of zippers and some fabric. Then, let's see, I had to switch sides. Then I have a few empty bins. This bin has some yarn for a project, another quilt project in that bin, some scraps, a quilt project in that bin, scraps for a quilt in that one. So that is what is contained in my ironing station. Next up, I have this rather fabulous armoire. It has a curved top. Ignore the pillow on top. I'm going to be stealing the stuffing out of that for a Christmas gift. So if I open up the doors, in here you'll find my tripods and paper trimmer, a box of mat board, some packages, laminator, bookbinder, printer, label printer, a knit project, my paper for printing my patterns, a random vase. In this drawer I have some display items from when I went to the retreat, a hole punch, some baggies, some more printer ink. This drawer I have my scale, my Daylight Go lamp, a box that holds my stickers and business cards, my yarn ball winder, some more shipping stickers, extra notebook, pens. Then if I close this up, in the bottom drawers I have tissue paper and packaging supplies. So these are all the mailers that I use when shipping out orders. And in this bottom drawer I have my bigger tissue paper as well as my laminator sheets and binding rings for my comb binder. So when we moved here, I had to downsize a lot of supplies, and some of them don't really have anywhere to go. So in these bins here, this bottom one is some random craft supplies that I need to like actually finish the craft and be done with. This box here is full of cross-stitch finishes and the finishing boards that I want to put them on. They just need fully finished. And this top one here is the felt that I use inside of my bags to hold the needle. So I have yardage of felt. I need to go through that and thin out some of that because I know there's some colors in there that I don't really use all the time. And then my tote bag that I made. So in here is a little closet. So I have a couple of shelves in there that hold my business supplies and some quilt kits and trays of in-progress bags, the tray I use for photographing, and just about all of the fabric that I have for the bags that I make is stored in plastic totes. This is one of those IKEA collapsible bins. It's full of finishing boards, some paper, a quilt kit, another quilt kit, and then I have a lovely little hook on the back of the door that is perfect for hanging my prepared binding until I'm ready to use it. Yes, the doors still need painted. Project for a later time. And this is a display above my Juki. This is one of those sewing cabinets that the side over here folds down and the door closes. Inside here I have quilt kits all bagged up in some Amazon projects. I don't know when I seem to think I'm going to get all these quilts done. I haven't quilted on anything in months. Some fabric for some curtains, some patchwork for a Christmas present that I need to get done. Then in this basket over here I have a lot more finishing supplies, mostly from Chantel's 141 Design Company and Hobby Lobby. Random fabric, dress that I need to fix, curtains that I need to sew for the bathroom. Then here we have my quilt ladder. Not much has changed on it since you saw it in the old craft room. It's just in a new place. That top quilt just needs its binding put on. Some embroidery that I've finished over the years. I don't do as much hand embroidery. Then this is where I spend most of my time sewing bags. So I do have my Juki. There's a little bit of a learning curve to sewing with a machine that has a stationary needle. I am used to being able to move my needle on my Singer. So I need a little more time to get used to the Juki before I can use it regularly for sewing my bags. I was either having the problem of figuring out how to line things up, or the presser foot was pressing down too hard and shifting the fabric as it went through, unless I used the walking foot all the time. But I didn't want to use the walking foot all the time. Either way, it's a long process. I need to work on it some more. Excuse me. So I have my stool here. Yeah, nice view of the trash can. I have my stool here that I sit in when I'm sewing. And on this shelf I have quilt scraps, quilt stash, prepared bindings. Yeah, you don't need a close-up of my finger. Thread, extra snaps, some random hardware, trims, quilt fabric stash, extra DMC stash. Lulu, your head's in the way. A quilt kit, quilting, thread, trims, ribbon, quilt scraps, quilt projects, charms and beads that I use to make the zipper pull charms. That's where I store my pre-cut felt pieces, a bin that has DMC in it that I need to put away, as well as some more twill tape. Then in all of these, they're 5x7 photo boxes that I bought in bulk off of Amazon. They work great to store all of my different colored snaps. And I need to figure out a better way to get this cord held up out of the way. My DMC in floss bobbin boxes. My tools for making the zipper pulls are there. Happy kitty. And then in these drawers that my husband also custom built for me, I have all of my tools tucked away that I use every day. So bobbins, the other snap head, my sewing machine tools, pins, thread cutter, lint roller, scissors, fabric scissors, and scissors for everything, trimming, seam ripper, needle piercer, my labels, my binding makers, extra rotary cutters. All of that is in there. My sewing machine pedal fell off of its footstool. Off of its throne, I should say. In this drawer, I have my quilting rulers, my rotary cutter, a Hera marker, pen, and a highlighter, a portion of a wool pressing mat, as well as my cutting instructions, for cutting my different materials. And yeah, I think that's about it. I think you've seen everything. So I have a lot less space than I used to, but I have natural light. It's bright. It's relatively clean. I need to get rid of all the extra bins, but lots of space for working, and has everything I need. So if you have any questions at all, or would like any other further details, just let me know. And I apologize if I moved too quickly at any point throughout the video. Thank you so much for joining me on a tour of my craft room. Let me know if you have any questions at any point, and I will gladly answer them the best way possible. Thank you for watching. Bye.